Hi, students. My name is Dr. Bond, Gary Bond, and I am professor and chair of the psychology department here at Eastern New Mexico University. We're in a small town in Portales, New Mexico. I can show you a little bit about the campus here. There's our football. If you can see it in the distance, that's our football stadium, American football, and that's where they play. And then see, this is a parking lot outside the university, but this is a classroom here that I use for experimental psychology, and so there are lots of computers in this classroom. Some of our classrooms are really nice and some are less equipped, I guess. But today I'm going to talk about the collaboration between my students in the senior seminar and Dr. Cueto's students, and we're going to talk about that research project, okay? All right, so I'm going to direct you to the computer here, and I'm going to show you what we've been doing so far. Let me pull this down so you can see the computer screen a little bit better. Okay, all right, I pulled that down. And their class is senior seminar. All right, the assignments they've had so far are a literature review paper with 6 sources. Can you guys see this? Let me pull this up a little bit. It's a literature review paper with 6 sources that they've written on some of the activities that Dr. Cueto gave me for what you do with the kids there in Puebla, Mexico. All right, and our students were to choose one of these topics for experimentation with a 4-year-old, an 8-year-old, and an 11-year-old. Okay, and those are going to be my kids. Okay, I'm going to bring them into class 3 times over 3 weeks, and they're going to be tested over some of these topics. So some groups in class are using visual closure. I think one group is doing visual memory, and then visual discrimination. So those were the 3 topics that groups in my senior seminar class decided to write their literature review papers on. Okay? So if you think about that, what we're going to do, Dr. Cueto and I, are assign groups of up to 5 people, and that would be my students and Dr. Cueto's students, to work in groups to produce a research project for the semester. All right, so the first thing that students did, they wrote this lit review paper with 6 sources. Now, what I'd like you to do, students in Mexico, is add 6 more sources on one of those topics that I showed you. All right? Now, I'm sure your library has some resources in terms of finding sources, but also online, you can type in Google Scholar and find some sources there as well. All right, so if you type in Scholar and then click on that, you should get to this search box. And let's just type in, I don't know, visual discrimination. Discrimination. Okay, let me spell correctly. And let's see what they have in terms of results here. All right. Now, if you look through these, you might find some studies that are good to include as sources in the literature review. So you'll be working with our students and adding 6 sources to the introduction, the literature review. So you can just go through and see which ones have full text articles. All right, you can tell if they have full text articles just by seeing out here if they have a PDF of the study. All right, it looks like this one's a neuroscience study on visual discrimination, okay? And this has to do with sleep. I don't know that that would make a difference in the study that we're going to do in class, but, you know, you want to just go through these and find 6 sources that you can use to add to that literature review that's already been written by the other students, okay? You can also go to your library and find books that have to do with visual discrimination and include those sources in this paper, okay? All right, let's see. Let's go back to the assignments. All right, so they turned these in, and they had 6 sources for an introduction section. The next thing they're working on now is finding 2 theories that have to do with their topic. So either it's visual closure, visual discrimination, or visual memory. Okay, so I have the guidelines for that paper here. And you want to read what the other students have done in terms of coming up with theories that support these topics, these research topics, okay? So you know what a theory is. It's an organized set of concepts or explanatory model that explains a phenomenon or a set of phenomena. Okay, you can think of lots of different theories like Freud's theories or, Bandura's theory of social learning and things like that, right? All right, but what theories fit your topic area? That's what you're going to be looking up along with your partners in class. Okay, so what you'll do is read what they've come up with in terms of theories for this paper, and what you're going to do is look at how those theories bear on these different research topics. Okay? How do you find theories? Well, I told students that sometimes it's easy just to go to a search engine like Google or something and type in theory of, and let's say we're looking at visual discrimination, okay? And then you want to look up some of these, the titles of those theories, and then see if those impact the topic that you're looking at. Okay, it looks like they have theory or visual discrimination theory, visual pattern discrimination. So you can look through some of these, scholarly articles and find theories that relate to the research topics, okay? So that's what they're working on now, and that one is due October 14th. But before the 14th, we're going to set up some groups, and we'll assign you to groups based on the topics that you would like to explore, and you'll join those groups and start collaborating on this paper, okay? All right, so, I'm sorry, we have a couple people coming in. Yes?
Is this for
The research is on the 16th.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Did you get the wrong date or
Yeah.
what? Okay. Yeah, it's on the 16th. That's okay. Take care. All right. Sorry, students. I had to interrupt myself. Now, the full paper is going to have an introduction, and that's what you're working on now. These 2 theories will be in with the literature review, and then you'll put a prediction section at the end of the intro. Then you'll be working together on creating a methods section, and a methods section has 3 essential sections: participants, materials, and procedure. Okay, so you'll work together on those, and then you'll write up a results section, based on the data that are gathered with the 3 children over a 3-week period. Okay, and students have been thinking about what kinds of statistics that they can use for 3 individual cases over 3 weeks. Okay, so we've had some discussions on discussion board, and I use this as an extra credit opportunity, but let's just see what they've said. What kinds of statistics should we use in this study? And it should be, I think we decided upon one-way analysis of variance with repeated measures. Okay? So you guys will collaborate to do those kinds of statistics on the data that are collected with the children, and then you'll produce some kind of figure that shows either their growth in their abilities on these same tests over 3 weeks, or, varied performance on each of the 3 tests. Okay? All right, so that should be your results section. And then, of course, you have a discussion section for the paper to write, where you'll give the main findings of the research and secondary findings, limitations, directions for new research, and a conclusion section. All right? After that section, then you'll write a references section. Okay, let me pull up a Word document, and I'll just reiterate what I said. You guys will have a cover sheet in APA style with all your names on it. And then you'll have an introduction, I should spell correctly, right? Section. At the end of the intro, you should have a predictions section where you give a hypothesis or 2 about what you expect to happen. Then you have a methods section with 3 subsections: participants, materials, and procedure. Procedure, there you go. Then the next section is results, where you'll restate hypotheses. You'll talk about the statistical test that you used. You'll talk about the results of that test. And then you'll give some kind of a figure in APA style that shows the performance of the 3 children over 3 weeks. The next section is the discussion section. Okay, can you see all this? I don't know. I'm sorry, it's hard to see these things, right? But there's a picture of all the sections so far. And then references. Okay, so you'll have a complete APA style research project paper that's due at the end of the semester. All right, in addition to this, in our collaboration, what I expect you guys to do is come up with a 10-minute research presentation over everything that you've written in your paper, okay? And it might include videos of the experimental sessions as you explained what happened and your concepts that you used and things like this. But the 10-minute presentation will also include an introduction, a method, results, discussion, and references section in it, okay? All right, so I'll provide more information over the course of the rest of this semester, but at least you know what you're going to be doing, okay? So Dr. Cueto will be giving you the emails of students in my class, and then you'll decide on groups, and then you'll work together for this collaboration, okay? All right, it was nice to meet you. Well, I didn't meet you yet, but I'll probably see you when I come to Mexico. And if you have any questions, I'll type my email here for you. My email is Gary.bond@enmu.edu. Okay, so you can write me any questions that you might have about the study. And you can also ask Dr. Cueto as well. All right, thank you very much. See you later.